CalazCon is a show about war, obsession, colonialist occupation, and the many forms of violence those inflict. See the description for content warnings specific to this episode.
So your fundamental goal here isn't wipe out the Thyro first or anything. The bare minimum is just make them move somewhere else.
On behalf of the Jovangelian Empire. I say we call them out.
You want to challenge them to a duel or what have you?
I think I disagree with this plan, because I do have a sense of honor.
We give them a chance to back up first.
Pausing as if it takes a little while for this to come out of his throat. Yes, I agree with Julius.
This is your desperate position. Force Majeure has a friend who is not a complete idiot. Yeah, you realise from Force Majeure's phrasing that Force Majeure is implicitly assuming that the duel is happening in pairs.
Ooh. Oh, that's
boy.
juicy, that
cool.
is. I love a good juicy duel.
Wow, I'm looking at Ipse's stats right now. Oh boy.
Hey, look, I don't get a lot of points.
Can we tag Mike in?
Yeah, Mike's already tag me in. Sorry, buddy.
But that then gives up a thingy of surprise, you know?
No, Mike's already shown himself.
Mike's already showed himself in an attempt to, be up front.
Is there a way we can make that work? Like, is it possible for Mike to just sort of, shoulder his way in front of Ipse?
I mean, I want to fight the duel too, but...
Oh, okay. Oh, if
Yeah.
Ipse wants to fight the duel, fuck it, let's go, let's do it.
Oh, yeah. Mike wants to tag in, but Ipse going for it themselves is also very good. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that's exceptional.
It's do you, deny the tag? Do you try to tell Michael, nah, I'm good?
Yeah, I think I'll probably do on our private comms, not to the others, say, to both Mike and True, hold position, we're moving in now for the fight.
Lieutenant Winter spots the sort of, body language here and says, directed at Michael but audible to everyone, something like, even I know that it is a cruel soldier who denies his ally, his bodyguard. Clearly, noting the kind of mech that Ipse pilots.
Sure, if you say so.
Meanwhile, True, what are you up to? Tell me sort of where you've got yourself posted up. How you've been passing your time.
True is hanging in her usual position for on-site operations when she is trying to minimize impact. She is directly above the site. She is at as long a distance as conceivably possible.
Oh, right. I'm not sure if I was just going to say, I'm not sure if you've seen the truck's capacity for, sustained flight before.
Yeah, it's got these huge boosters, which are, I don't think it's subtle, but I also feel like there's probably a reasonable amount of traffic over CalazCon. I mean, there's also anti-air munitions, but I trust her to dart and dodge. I think in this scenario, it's a fairly sedate scene. She's basically sat there. The truck is at it is facing downwards. She does have long reach drawn, and these huge sort of orange boosters that are hanging off the back of it are just thrumming away, keeping it at a stable position. And she has the scene, the proposed duel down Longreach's scopes. And you just tell me if you feel funny, alright? The slightest thing. A little bit of a head cold or anything like that, you let me know, alright?
Yeah, I'll do that. I, seeing some of their, Longreach, gestures with their sensors towards the sporadic skirmishes in the Aeolian Gardens. Some of the stuff over there did mess with my historical targeting data a little, but no, I'm good. I'm gonna be good.
True's nose wrinkles, but she pats the top of the monitor, despite the fact that that's not even really Longreach's body. And it's not like Longreach is tactile in that way anyway, but there's a fondness there regardless. I think, as usual, she has some tinny rock music playing in the mech cockpit. Basically every shot of True. She has her own playlist and a commitment to it.
Nice. You get a message coming up on your screen. It starts with a preset, a classic DFS signal. It starts with the equivalent of an SOS or something. And then it says, "Hey, can you open voice comms?" And then it gives a list of coordinates.
As in they want to meet, or I'm targeting my scopes or my comm scanner for that particular area?
As in "Hey, I'm down here, can we talk?"
Do I recognize the mech IP address, or...
I mean, if you want to focus your sights on those coordinates, you don't see an RV, you see a very disheveled, damp, sodden hair looking figure in contemporary DFS uniform, just lying down a tiny alleyway where two buildings are very close together and looking up at you.
I zoom in 3 additional ranges. I can pick out every hair on their head. Do I recognize this person?
No, you don't, but you see the details. You recognize the badge, the insignia, everything, the regiment. It's one of the sort of large military regiments that got completely scattered in the landing.
I don't chip in on the voice comms because I'm conscious that there's an active negotiation occurring right now. But I send I do Windows Shift S and send a screenshot of my monitor, and I go breaking formation to investigate. Clear? That is a question. If anyone says true, not clear, then she will know.
Clear.
You get a distracted clear from Julius.
Michael becomes concerned because, my belief about True is I can't lose True again. I need to get her out. It's just be careful, okay?
Mikey, it's one man. I think I've got this. Or, Mikey, it's one person. I think I've got this. Depending on the pronouns of the person that I'm currently... I of course see that in the tooltip on my mech sniper rifle. The DFS arms firms are very concerned with respecting someone's pronouns while you shoot at them from 6 miles away using a mech sniper rifle.
The sniper scope that detects your pronouns is a real bit of sci-fi technology.
Hello, and welcome to late-stage capitalism. My name is Felix Hazard.
That is peak DFS, fucking diversity win. All of our vehicles have pronoun Clippy.
So she switches off the rocket engines, drops a stone for half a mile, and then, reignites them. So they're in an alleyway, yes? She lands on one of the 2, buildings bordering the alleyway, just looming over them.
Yeah, they're close enough to the 501st territory that would be interpreted as hostile, but you can, lower a bit and go directly over them and, initiate voice communications or something.
Okay, then, yeah, fair enough, that. And, I've disengaged Longreach, so I'm not clearly in a hostile attack mode. Predominantly, the truck is a civvy mech. It has Longreach. I don't think it's heavily armed beyond that. Maybe whatever space trucks have to, distract pirates as opposed to shoot at them.
Right.
But anywho, she's looming over this person. She switches on the mech's, overhead lights.
Yeah, this figure looks up and just says, "Hey, I'm so glad that someone finally picks up. I landed here, and it's been hell ever since. I've just been trying to pick my way out, getting lost and waylaid and disoriented by all this." He gestures at the general chaos of the curse around him. "I have no idea where my squad is. I've just been looking for anyone who'll take me in, short of turning traitor."
You've been... That would have been weeks. You've been stuck in here the entire time?
Damn, I guess. I mean, it's all It's all a bit hazy, sort of, blurs together, you know, time flies when you're, convincing yourself that you're, a rifleman for a corpo state 200 years ago.
I don't know that I've ever really had the experience. Do you have a name?
My name's Lilac Luster.
Is that name ringing any bells at all for me?
No. I have a picture of Lilac Luster.
Cool name, by the way.
Another, Indiegogo backer special. I can't take credit.
It's pretty sick.
Nice work. Is this chap on the top right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, kind of white dude, or white person, short cropped, light brown hair, scrubby beard, kind of Tom Hardy vibes.
Yeah, I was going to say Tom Hardy as well.
Some vibes there. Scrubby leather jacket, bit of a jumper situation going on underneath, or a sweater, depending on which side of the Atlantic you live on currently, and some sort of tattoo up the right side of their face. Well, you lend the devil with a kind hand. She is going to flick a switch on the dash, which opens up like a rope ladder into the passenger space of the truck. Alright, clamber in.
Thanks. You know, I really appreciate you and Ellis showing up like this. You don't know who Ellis is.
I don't know who Ellis is.
Oh, it's no problem. You're welcome, says Longreach. And with that, Team Jewel, how are you doing?
Wait, what happened there?
Lilac addressed you and someone called Ellis, who is not there, and you do not know who that is, and Longreach responded as if that had been addressing them.
Cool. Love that. Bad. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
My weapon has history that I don't know about. You know, people go by many names. We were just talking about this. I'm always talking about this.
So yeah, Team Jewel, are you just like making your way to the site?
Yeah, and I think we're having a conversation over comms about that.
Yeah. Yeah, so what does that look like?
Ipse, are you certain about this?
I believe we can fight them together. Do you have doubts?
I haven't seen you in combat very often.
I assure you I should be more than capable.
Alright. Noted. My specialty is at range. Are you capable of holding them at bay, so I can bring that to bear?
That suits me just fine. Stay behind me.
Julius privately thinks that's adorable.
And Michael, what are you doing? Are you like following but at a distance to make it clear you're not part of a party?
Michael likes Ipse, but is secretly fuming at this opportunity to show off and fulfill his drive as being taken away from him, but also kind of wants to see, because did we fill the enhancement clock last downtime on your RV? We did, didn't we?
We didn't quite fill it.
We didn't quite fill it.
It's not got another quirk, yeah.
It's interested in seeing like what this mech can do from having had a look around it, which is sort of taking the edge off it a bit. But is like the thrumming of the engines has gone down a bit and is idling. So other than that, Michael is going to go to one of his other plans while this is going on, if he's got a little bit of a moment to do so. And yeah, we were talking about how the scene change only happens when scan interface happen or as a consequence. Well, Mike feels like because of the situation with Curse or whatever kind of spreading out and trying to like interface with DFS systems, maybe it's time, whilst we are right here next to it and able to sort of interface and be closer to this actual stuff that's coming out, let's write ourselves a computer virus and try and infect it to stop this from happening as much.
Okay, so what is the explicit goal of this?
Just remind me again of what the effect it was having that we discovered when we were around on the bus, that it was trying to...
Basically, that some of the like old, outdated historical DFS and Exodon data that it had, that the curse is built on, that's being like reskinned to CalazCon stuff, that old data is being updated to contemporary data. So, like, the old proxies and apps of, like, DFS soldiers from famous battles from, 100 years ago, suddenly they have modern uniforms and modern weapons.
So I want to write, because on my vehicle load, I've got a coding program and a retrieval program, which I think will probably cover some of this stuff. Write some kind of virus, infect that into the system, and reverse these, like make it go back to ideally not even just the way it was before, but even older DFS positions, so it's even further out of date.
Okay.
This might be a clock that I'd need to put additional ticks into if it's too much for one roll. That might make sense. Like, as much as Michael is a disillusioned career soldier, he is still a DFS soldier and is very uncomfortable with this, with the concept of, up-to-date stuff being part of this system.
I think the correct way to frame this is that, like, you can see that this is happening. You don't know where it's coming from. So you could, like, start a clock to, like, revert the changes in, like, a radius of the curse, a given area of the curse. You don't yet know where you would need to go or what you would need to look for in order to stop it just happening again.
Okay. Well, in which case, can I do a scan to try and figure that out? Would that be a more sensible move at this point?
Yeah, definitely. I would say that is, for various reasons, that is desperate limited.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, except regional scanning interface of greater effect, desperate standard.
Okay. That makes sense. Is there a collateral dice associated with this?
I take reinforcements again.
That would be at 2 of 4. Is that okay with folks?
I mean, yeah, I guess. Yeah, fuck it. Why not?
I'll also tick one of my quirks, high quality components. This scan's going out. Maybe it might give us a route on where some of these caches are as well, if we can get some stuff on there. So that makes sense to me. Any help that could be offered? I don't really think if folks are around, are they?
Yeah, it sounds like people are somewhat occupied.
So yeah, I'll take that collateral dice for an additional one. This was desperate standard. What size of clock is this? Oh, this isn't a clock. This is just to try and locate it. Is that right?
Yeah, this isn't a clock.
Okay, in which and then I will use my high quality components for an additional dice. So that will be a 3 dice scan. 615. Could have done without it, but at least there's no consequence.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah. So I imagine what this looks like is, like, the best way to figure out the source of this is to see if there's any trace of it left in the affected, like, assets of the curse.
Because I'm assuming there's enough of a Wi-Fi range to be able to, like, log in to some degree to what's going on in this kind of AR, like, flip into AR mode somehow.
Yeah, exactly. So I think you can search through the code and look for any identifying data, anything that suggests an origin point or something. And what you get does shed a fair amount of light on the situation. It suggests the provenance of what is going on is something in the music department, in the area controlled by the 501st. But you also, in some ways, what you get is more confusing in that all of your code indicates that that is where the assets that you're looking at, that is where all of these things should be.
Those are that was the secondary objective, the supply caches, was that right? Or the assets relating to the...
So assets is in, like, all the things being affected by the AR corruption, like the curse's digital assets. The thing changing them is emanating from the music department. That's exactly where they should still be. Maybe one of the reasons that 501st is unaware of it is this genuinely seems to be a accidental byproduct. But now you know there's something in the music department that is preventing this, that is causing the anomalies that have been troubling the hive. Okay, meanwhile, Julius and Itse, you're walking towards the Aeolian Gardens when Suddenly, your senses pick up a tremor below your feet. There's a sudden burst in the ground, and something that was buried forcibly jumps out and flies rapidly up towards you. At least it's starting to do that. In that split second, what do the two of you do?
Something like mech-sized? Or RV-sized?
There was a mine buried here, and you've tripped it. The reason it's like flying up is that it's clearly designed to be anti-RV, so essentially what it's doing is it's designed to leap up because the limbs are not necessarily the weak points.
These motherfuckers. Come on now. We were supposed to have a fair fight. Come on.
Sure were.
I'm sure they'll address this soon, but it's too late for them to stop it exploding.
I know what my instinctive programming is, and that's try and make sure my RV is between the mine and Julius's.
Oh no.
Alright, so it sounds like you're going to try to just protect. Is Julius going to try to do something to just completely mitigate this?
I think it's interesting if it happens. So I'm down for this. Like, I can help or whatever, but like I like the idea of Ipse throwing themselves in front of me. Julius hates it. I like it.
Oh yeah, my point is just like, are you angling to roll anything here, Ipse? What are you trying to do?
And I feel if anything, this is just an attempt to resist, right? But that depends what the consequence is going to be, so...
I mean, if you wanted, I think we could pitch it as like a maneuver to get Julius out of the way and to position yourself where you can absorb most of the impact. Where like you can just weather it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take a shot at the maneuver if it potentially makes things better.
I mean, I'm down to help with that.
Yeah, okay.
You know how to dive out of the way?
Yeah, I think it's just like realizing what's happening and like taking as much evasive maneuvers as I can.
Cool.
I'll take a stress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
So, I'm going to get one base dice from Purpose Built, but am I just rolling...
You've got one help.
Yeah, so you don't have any dice in maneuver?
Yeah, I do not.
Okay, I'd say this is Desperate Standard, yeah?
Desperate Standard? Okay, I'll take the extra die from the help then. Oh no, that's a 1 and a 2.
Oh, that is extremely rough.
Oh boy, okay.
You can take the level 2 damage blasted, and I think at this point you're like, here you're a bit north of the breach point, you're on your way to the Aeolian Gardens. You can take level 2 damage, and I think there's a blast, and I think we hear the blast and we hear this resounding bell that like settles into this flute-like tone as the sound of the explosion gets refracted through the Aeolian Gardens and through the AR conflict happening there, and increasing the scene change clock by 1. Do you want to resist either of those? Or declare armor for the harm, obviously, the damage.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering about as well. That's quite a bit of my load.
Do you want to have -1 dice before the fight even
Not
starts?
really. That's what I'm thinking. So if I want to resist with quirks...
4 minus the left-hand side, depending on whether you're doing expertise or acuity.
Would this be expertise because that's what I was rolling, or would this be acuity?
I think this is expertise. Yeah, this is like piloting, physical dexterity, yeah.
Pretty bad at that. Right, I might declare the armor. I think declaring the armor is probably the best bet here.
Do we have an ability that helps with resisting as well?
Oh, do we?
I can't.
Did we get Forged in Fire or something like that?
Forged in Fire. Exhaust 1 fewer quirk for vehicle resistance. Okay,
Yeah,
that's...
so it would be 2 quirks to resist acuity, 1 quirk for you to resist with expertise.
I think I'm just going to declare armor and knock the damage down that way.
Okay.
I think that's the right call here.
Alright, so in that case, I think it's maybe like level 1 damage shrapnel or something. What's it look like as the Blade of Liberty intervenes and sort of does what you and it were designed for in this moment? Because we haven't really had it on screen before.
It's very much like a tank of an RV, right? It's a fairly solid, stable built sort of bipedal vehicle, and like Blade of Liberty is not fast, but I think it's more that I can make it take surprisingly large steps when I need to, and this was almost like one fluid motion to try and put myself in between. It's not great, and I end up, I think, just putting myself closer to the blast than really would have been ideal, and that's why I'm taking the hit here.
Right, so you suddenly leap forward, the explosion sort of shakes Fumaging, like, despite your best efforts, stumbling backwards slightly in the scrape of metal as you bump into the Toru slightly, but the worst of the blast is averted. There's a beat, and then Nuclear Winter's voice comes over comms. I'm very sorry, Captain. I must have forgotten where we had placed those. I did not realize they would need to be disabled. You have my sincere apologies.
This motherfucker. I get on comms to, Captain Force Majeure. I'd forgotten his name. And I say, as compensation for your dishonor, we request a free hit.
It seems to me that your friend there took the blow quite admirably. That feels disproportionate.
Well, if you want it known that you are dishonorable. Shrug.
Fine. The first blow is yours.
Oh, fuck yeah, okay. Yeah, I spin up the biggest fucking laser I have.
Oh, right, yeah, so you're there in the Ionian Gardens. You're facing off with Force Majeure and Nuclear Winter.
What this looks like is it's the beam in the mouth of the bull part of the Toru. It's not like orbital laser scale, obviously, because that's an entire satellite, but those are the sort of visuals that I'm looking in for, right? Just like this feeling of something really enormous spinning up. I think I've made like a little bit of distance, because I'd like to ideally roll Bombard here. Oh no, I can't. That's like beyond sight. It specifies, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you just, if you use okay, yeah, I guess it's a battle no matter what. Alright.
Okay, yeah, so Nuclear Winter and Force Majeure are piloting two apes, which are just sort of like the classic iconic line infantry of the Evangelion Empire. These like big cylindrical bodies, clawed hands, low sort of like inset domed head with a thin horizontal visor. And you see they immediately take formation with Nuclear Winter behind Force Majeure, and you can see why they were so keen to fight in pairs. They have a formation, because Force Majeure is at the front with a shield and an axe, and Nuclear Winter is behind with a long glaive and some sort of ballistic weapon.
Well, Force Majeure is the one who is less likely to actually try to dodge this, because he's an idiot. So, I'm gonna shoot him. How does this work? Like, is it just that I get a better position and effect, or...?
Oh, you know how it works? Because there has to be someone officially calling the start of the duel. Nuclear Winter volunteers.
Great.
Nuclear Winter says, the duel starts and you get your free hit on the count of 3.
Okay.
Nuclear Winter's lived here for a while, and you're in the Ionian Gardens. So, Nuclear Winter pauses, and just when they reach 0, the Curse AR battle going on around you flares up, and like there's a big mounted infantry charge with like an AR tank backed by a platoon of soldiers between you and Force Majeure. So, yes, you're going to have some improved position and effect because Force Majeure is expecting to take this blow, but you're going to have to roll to shake off this interference.
No, I'm gonna shoot through all of it.
Okay.
They're between me and him?
Yeah?
Yeah, no. Everyone gets shot. It's a big laser.
Alright. Yeah, my point is more like, this is inevitably going to interfere with your targeting and stuff a little, and this is why there's an element of risk.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm just flavoring it such that it's not Julius carefully aiming anything. It's Julius going, well, all right.
Yeah, it's Julius being like, this does not require a great deal of precision. You miscalculated here.
If there was a building in between me and this person, it wouldn't matter.
All right. I think then that this is a pretty straightforward, risky standard.
Is it battle or bombard?
This is battle, unless your equipment is fine, or I'm forgetting anything to that effect.
No.
All right. Are you getting any help?
I mean, I can try and help you here, potentially.
Yeah, I would love that.
Okay, how do you help?
I think I'm, like, syncing up the sensors on the Blade of Liberty to your targeting computer. I'm trying to, like, link our sensors together that way.
Oh, yeah, that's...
To assist with the shot.
That's really good, because I actually have nothing in scan, so, like, narratively speaking,
that's the thing.
You're, like, actually letting me use the targeting computer, whereas, like,
Yeah,
Julius is just aiming this by sight a lot of the time.
I have scan, and although I don't have to use it here, I have infrared sensors as one of my quirks,
cool.
So I think I'm, like, using those to get through the AR interference.
I'm gonna push myself, and I'm gonna tick unsurprisingly brutal. It's a big laser. It's a big fucking laser, is the thing.
Yeah, okay.
So I've got 1 point of help. I'm gonna make this 2 dice risky great.
Alright, yeah, that works.
Yeah, no problem. Easy. That is a 6
Nice.
and a 3.
Okay. Yeah, describe to me what this looks like.
Well, I might have mentioned this already, but it's a pretty big laser.
Yes. From the mouth of a bull, right?
It's very large. Julius sort of, like, hunkers down. He sort of adjusts the over-the-shoulder grip on the bull, and it just, like, spins up, and then there is a beat, like a totally silent moment, and then just, like, whoosh, like, big, yellow, cylindrical laser. Melts through, like, all of these fucking AR assholes, and hits this entirely non-AR asshole.
Right, damn. Yeah, okay. Force list for shield, but, like, I'm imagining it does just sort of burn a hole. Just like this gaping hole through it, and we see the classic thing of, like, him trying to, like, stand his ground and getting pushed back, and the shield just, like, burns through and begins to torch, and I feel like you just see this, like, pool of flame and plasma, like, enveloping the torso of his ape. And honestly, the main good that the shield does is ensure that he doesn't get hit so hard that he slams back and seriously damages Nuclear Winter as well. So the two of them together are 1 6 clock, and you have filled half of that.
I think I get on comms to Ipse. All business now, right? Say, close distance.
Yep. I'm gonna do that the way that I see appropriate, which is time to fire up my machine gun, and I'm going to advance while just shooting the machine gun as, like, suppressing fire, basically.
Alright.
Nice.
So is your goal here to injure with a machine gun, or to just, like, get in their faces? And it sounds like you're more trying to, like, block for...
Honestly, if I can, I want to just keep them in place and keep their attention on me so that Julius can get another shot in.
That sounds to me like another maneuver, and it is challenging because the two of them don't let themselves get too, like, rocked by what you've done. Like, immediately they're adjusting into their formation. That glaive is, like, pointing up and over force majeure, and it's long enough to try to, like, harry you. And it's, like, you realize it's double-ended. It has sort of, like, a hook by the handle, and Nuclear Winter is, like, flipping it from both angles. So sometimes it's the point jabbing at you from above, and sometimes the hook is trying to get to the limbs of the Blade of Liberty and trip you.
Mm-hmm. Can I argue for this being battle, not maneuver? I'm not particularly trying to, like, move quickly and dodge here. I'm trying to get in their face and stay, like, engaged more than anything else.
No, you're right. That is very fair. Yeah, this is definitely part of, like, doing battle. I think that's a very good point. That's a lot more reasonable. Yeah, I think that's fair. And I would say that this is risky standard. And I think as you approach Force rapidly sort of recovers posture from that incredible blow that he just received and says, "If you live, ask your friend what happens to those who go into battle on his orders."
Oh no. Oh no. I would like to help with this, if I can.
Yeah, how do you do that?
Take the help.
Missile rack. I just, like, open a whole bunch of, like, missile racks and just, like, a whole bunch of, like, fucking anime-ass rockets come out to cover Ipse's assault.
It's one benefit from that help, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have fine machine gun as vehicle gear. Is that also going to improve my effect here?
Yes, yeah. So, risky great.
Oh, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Risky great, and I'm going to tick my steady gait quirk
Okay.
to maintain my composure as I march forwards to engage the enemy.
Alright, so are you ticking that quirk to get another dice?
That's for a push, so I'll take the push and the help for extra. Can I take extra dice on both?
Absolutely.
Is that allowed?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, cool, yeah. I'll do that and get myself 3 dice
Oh,
on a
okay
risky
then.
great.
Uh-huh.
4, 1, 5. I'll take the 5, that's fine, yep.
Okay. Alright. Okay, just so I don't have to walk back what I'm going to say, you successfully, like, bit by bit, what does it look like to just endure this volley of blows and square off against, effectively 2v1 against this team?
It's certainly not something that Ipse's extremely experienced with, so it almost looks clumsy, but the thing that's pulling me through here is that machine gun seems to be being fed from somewhere, and it just keeps firing, right? Like, I'll occasionally take a step back from the, like, melee range and just get in, like, a sweep of the appropriate sized caliber shots across one of them and drive them back a little bit before they can respond and get in my face again.
Right, yeah, because this mech, like, you are a bodyguard, but this is a very different kind of guarding. And again, I want to just, like, emphasize the sheer, like, imposing force of a Blade of Liberty holding these two off, and they're immediately just trying to, like, maneuver and find a path round you, but you're quickly, like, stepping and maneuvering your fire. And they are very much functioning as a unit, and you are holding them off. Like, one sort of rule or thing I had decided for them is it is impossible to roll in a controlled position against the two of them unless you find a way to split them up, because they are just so on it when they're together. But you are still managing to combat their approach. The consequence is I feel the reinforcements clock. Are you resisting?
I would quite like to resist that, yeah.
Okay. Resisting will mean it ticks once. It will not mean it does not tick at all.
Seeing as that means it won't immediately fail, I'm still pretty happy to try and resist.
So how would you resist this? I think,
If you'll take a suggestion, I could be trying to interfere with their ability to communicate while I'm fighting these two, if they're the ones that are bringing in these reinforcements, that is.
yeah, that works. In that case, it does sound like an acuity resist.
That is fine by me. It's actually slightly better for me.
Okay, how many quirks does that spend?
So it would be 2, but we have Forged in Fire, so that reduces it to 1, right?
Yes, nice. So true, you can hear the sounds of gunfire off from a distance, but you have a strange figure climbing a rope ladder into the truck.
For the record, they're climbing into one of the cargo containers. The truck has one which has a series of benches in it.
Yes.
Which I think is usually where the board squadron hang out. The camera conveniently doesn't fixate on whether board squadron is there or not. Like, this person could be sitting on an empty row of benches, or the entirety of board squadron could be behind them. It's not clear. But I think there is, like a cockpit cam to true in the corner of the room. Quote-unquote room.
Mm-hmm.
It's like being ferried around in a shipping container. I can't emphasize enough how uncomfortable it is in here, but...
Okay.
Ellis? Like ELLIS?
Yeah? Mm-hmm.
You were just looking for anyone, but you knew them. From when?
The figure blinks a few times, and I think it's now that you realise that you are looking at a proxy, but even then, that doesn't necessarily narrow down their provenance, because it wouldn't be unusual for a member of the US military to have a proxy to just, represent them in digital communications. it could be that this really is a current living DFS soldier's lost proxy.
I mean, I'm also the au pair for a gun. Like, I don't necessarily think True doesn't think proxies are people.
Yeah. He blinks for a few seconds and then says, Yeah, you know, me and Peter go way back.
Closes the comms channel to the passenger space. Do you have any idea what this thing is talking about? I think she is, the rope ladder retracts. She starts to pull back up into resting position. It keeps changing names. Do you, recognize them?
He did?
Switch names? Yeah.
Neither Longreach nor Lilac seem to even realise that the names have switched. I don't know, talking back just felt like the most natural thing there was. You know?
Camera cut to True's eyes, and they are dilated. She looks extremely concerned. Yeah, okay. Alright. The truck slowly lurches back into, Overwatch position. She's looking at the mess down on the ground. But, you know, still within the boundaries of the duel. She's not gonna interfere with that. Okay, but what if I interfered with that? Hang on now. I mean, we do have this thing where scan and interface have increased effect.
We have that.
Mike will have fed back info to you about the location of any stuff that's going on in the music department.
If we have an idea as to where these supply caches are, I could start picking at those, but again, I don't really want to interfere with the bounds of the duel. You know, duels are tough social situations. I'm often saying this.
They are. Is there some kind of, either command or cohort role? Could there be some kind of flashback to there was a delivery to the music department earlier today that was in fact full of our troops?
Oh,
it's bordering on Artist Sally. We could just have a van parked up next to this wall or something, you know?
Well, and you want to have them burst in
just send them
now?
over. Head towards the supply caches, right?
We don't know where the supply caches are. We know where the...
Oh, I thought based on your earlier role we'd had a notion on that.
Is that true? Do we know where the supply caches are, or is it just the kind of the source of this digital corruption?
You know where... Yeah, I think it's more you know where the source of the corruption is. In fact, actually, hold on. I have an idea for something that... just from your sheer vantage point, True, you do notice something. Because you can see the AR battle going on around the jewel in the Aeolian Gardens. And you've been watching it for a while, so you've seen the scene play out a few times. One of the sides is suddenly bigger.
Don't love that. Don't love that. So, whereabouts on the map is the source of the AI corruption? Or the AR
It's just
corruption?
Bang in the middle of the music department.
You know what? I do like Matt's idea. I do like surprise delivery. Let's do a flashback. Let's get our boys on site.
Because they could be in the music department, right?
I like that. I like the idea that there's a Fantasy Ford Transit hover truck there, and just a layer of trombone boxes, and then they shove them aside and then get to work.
All right. So for the flashback, you want to manage to smuggle an entire squadron into the enemy base.
When you say it like that, Elspeth, it sounds ridiculous.
Oh, no, I'm very in favour of this happening.
It could have been a big truck.
Yeah, it's a very large truck. They were lying down at the time.
The impression I get is it might also be a large stress.
Yeah.
I find it very entertaining that you think the size of the elite hit squad is what's is causing the issue here.
I feel like it can't help it, but...
Because they will be having deliveries, right? They'll be having the stuff like that coming in, Artist Alley, from
the Hive.
Yes, the Hive. They were saying that there are workers here at Curse still, so there must be some kind of delivery that's happening. Is it Birdie and a bunch of other people, in high-vis vests with clipboards, and we're just going to try and get in that way, they're supposed to be there?
Yeah, so are we retroactively rolling? Are we doing a flashback and rolling sway to get these guys in position? Is that what's happening?
That could work, sure.
Okay.
Can I reword it as a consort in terms of it's True parked up next to Morn, parked up next to the parked up cab, and True is going, listen, if you help get my guys in, we don't want this escalating to ARVs, we don't. If we get folks in on foot, we can minimize the damage, minimize the potential mess. Any collateral, you know?
Yeah, okay.
This is after we've gotten off the bus and have gone to the cab, just after the other two have gotten out.
Yep. It's a very complicated series of events. There's a timeline involved.
This does sound somewhat convoluted, so I'm going to say this is a 2-stress flashback, but you can definitely roll it.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely taking the 2 stress. So you're thinking that would be a... can I consort this?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you want an assist on that?
What do you think the assist from Mike would be? No offense to Mike.
No, well, Mike would have been there when we're having this conversation, right? So
That's what I'm concerned about, yes.
he's got his little computer, he's got his little engineering glove, so he could be bringing up little holographic demonstrations of the positioning and like what kind of stuff's going on to help kind of sell the argument. A PowerPoint for your verbal presentation can be brought up by Mike.
I don't know that PowerPoints are usually a consort role, and in fact I'd argue that they're usually the opposite, but I do enjoy spending time with Mike, so I'm not adverse doing this, sure.
I can provide backup information. We're trying to sell them, like, if we can just get the guys in there, we can... Here are some examples of, like, the uniforms that we've got. We've got these already. It's not a bad idea. Just, like, be backing any questions. Oh, what about this? Mike can be, like, Googling in the background and feeding information to you. Oh, that kind of thing.
What is Mike's current relationship with True?
Mike's current relationship with True is, I can't lose True again, I need to get her out, and it is a 1-dot belief. So this would be one.
Alright, for a cheeky 1-dot, I'm not averse to that.
For a cheeky 1-dot, yeah, exactly.
What is my positione here?
I think this is risky standard, and then there's a 2 stress to even make this flashback.
That's valid. Up to 7 stress, baby.
Oh, that's fine. That's nothing.
Yeah, I mean, 9 stress is when you have to worry. Any point up until that's just chump change. It's fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
The only important stress box is for last one.
Exactly. So we're going risky great here. Boosting my effect. Yeah. 2 dice. I'm very good at console. Hooey. It was a 2 and a 5. I was concerned there for a second.
Okay, so what this looks like is you just are looking down at the scene and you decide, like, okay, it's time for this to go, and you give the signal, and in, like, a loading bay around the back of the music department, Board Squadron just breaks out and starts shooting.
I think, for the record, they're not immediate... Like, if there's guards or whatever, then fair enough. They'll try and... They're on foot. Maybe they've got, like, batons as opposed to immediately gunfire, because we're trying not to take too much attention out from the duel.
Ideally, we should not be getting... Like, I was thinking this would be more of a sneaky kind of bam, Or looking around inside there.
Everyone knows there are 2 kinds of tactics in war. There's an all-out assault, or there's a sneaky kind of bam. Sun Tzu said that. And this is the latter, of course. But I think True has the monitor up. Birdie has, like, a shoulder-mounted cam or something like that, and she's, like, talking through some notes from Morn or something like that, trying to direct them towards the source of the AR poison.
Okay. Yeah, so they're fighting their way through, and they begin making headway, and I think you got the Elite Toughs upgrade after last mission, right? So, Board Squadron is better quality now, and this partially just means they're better at their job, but quality also reflects their scale, so they've gone from, like, being 10 or so people to being about 20 people, I think.
200 men.
So
4 more vans open up and 3,000 people emerge from the van.
I think we definitely... There is
Immigrant Song starts up.
a lot of them. And we also had Ipse's training scene last downtime, so I think we see them being a lot more fluid, their communication view being much better. But I also think we just see a lot of people we haven't seen before. And I think part of that is part of the reason why there's so many more of them is, I think with your success last mission and with Julius openly declaring his existence and his alliance with DFS, I think some of the squadron soldiers who were lost and shattered by the landing have rallied to you and joined board squadron.
I genuinely thought you were going to say that they were more defectors, and I was like, Mike's gonna love that.
No, not that quite.
Oh no.
But yeah, they're fighting their way through.
Bertie, stay on target. We're aiming for the source of this mess. Whatever's going on here. Sooner we can get this tidied up, sooner we can push them back.
I would like you to take the level 2 damage melted.
My poor beloved Mac. That I never bothered giving a proper name. Does the truck have armor? No.
A laser slams into your back.
Into my back?
And you hear a voice say, "Okay, nerds, this is really very embarrassing for all of us. I just hope you understand that." From a Exodon extractor, which is a mech that looks sort of like a large bipedal vulture, like it has this low-slung beak-like cockpit and these large crushing hands, is emanating the voice of Empress Gold, of the early birds who you met last downtime.
Oh, I hate this person.
Mm-hmm. Everyone immediately hears this because, of course, Force Majeure immediately jumps on comms and says, "This is our business. If you don't respect honor, then at least respect that we respect it. I think you should respect the fact that you don't know the importance of what you're doing here, and you clearly aren't equipped to handle it."
Okay, they're definitely responsible for the improvements to cars. I mean, controversial opinion, guys. I don't trust these people.
I don't. And if Birdie's been a subtly, sneaky bam tactic, with their silence things and...
Oh, it's a subtly sneaky bam.
That's
an
If Force and
tactic.
Nuclear haven't picked up that they're there yet because they're it's small arms fire and they're engaged in the thing, we could always sell that we don't know if this person's associated with you, so we moved first. Ho ho. So you moved first, so we moved afterwards. So, yeah.
That's a fair point.
So, screw honor.
Was this in response to... I know mechanically this is in response to me doing this shenanigan with Birdie, but in the narrative, is this a consequence to them noticing Birdie approaching... and Birdie and his boys, the Birdie boys, approaching the source?
Yeah, they had that drone up, so Empress Gold has seen all this, and that was a final straw where they were watching the 501st might have this, the 501st might have this, the 501st don't have this.
I'm always saying this about the 501st.
This is the
Yeah, the 501st got fucked up.
This is the reinforced. That clock is full.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So basically, we are aware of what's just happened with True.
Yeah, I think she communicates out. Taking fire. Cardinal direction that they're coming from, heading if she's got it.
Just for drama, this extractor RV is on the ground, would be firing. So I think maybe the laser ricochets off you a little, so it's you see a laser bounce into the sky, and then you hear taking fire.
Michael has a response to this. The next time he has the ability to take a turn, he's doing a thing.
I think, True starts taking evasive actions, but also she's driving a truck, so they're not exactly fast. But she does, reopen comms to the passenger space. Hold on. Rumble as the whole thing shakes, because it's now melted. One of the boosters is just gone. It's slag.
Do you respond to Empress Gold at all? Or is that not your style?
What? Why? No.
What about you, Michael?
As we've said before, Mike's belief with True is, I can't lose True again, I need to get her out. And so is leaving this particular theatre of battle, and as soon as this shot goes on, being shot in the back, is immediately going to assist. Doesn't say anything, but Julius and Ipse will note that Mike is bailing from here, and is immediately going to go and assist with True.
All right.
I think he might have a status, because I think True is saying, I'm not that fast, and Mike's like, yeah, well, you know who is. off we go.
For the record, True isn't thrilled he's doing this. Just want to put it on mic.
I know.
True isn't thrilled he's doing this.
I know, but I'm struggling with a belief, so there you go.
How dare you self-sacrifice before I can sacrifice myself?
Alright, Julius, as this happens, as you hear force majeure's sigh of frustration, you hear Nuclear Winter over comms, and you note specifically that this is a private channel. You can't just post that. I just imagine this is why we don't see force majeure's bottom half in that portrait.
I typed into chat George Major, just for the record.
And I typed in the chat,
Got
got him.
Nuclear Winter opens this private channel with you, Julius, and says, "Well, I'm glad we can dispense formalities. I think we both knew this would happen. The difference is that one of us doesn't send our lover onto the battlefield alone." And then going back onto the main channel, which everyone can hear. "Okay, we're going loud. Open fire." And we see from above as that AR battle, half of the ARDFS platoon were actually AR. And they turn around and they start opening fire on you. What do you do, Julius?
How close am I to force majeure at this point?
Mech scale is, you gotta be tens of feet to have enough range for your big laser, and with Blade of Liberty between you.
Okay. Well, I'm not doing anything about any of the... So, force majeure is, defeated, right?
No. You can see the clock. Force and nuclear are one clock.
Didn't, Ipse tick that 3 times, though? I ticked it 3 times, and Ipse ticked it 3 times.
I don't think we ticked it directly as an effect.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's giving you space to effectively use your gun isn't going to deal with
I was mainly
threats.
trying to maintain space.
Yeah,
right?
it doesn't make any
I
sense
see.
for that to take them out of the fight. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to see if there is anything nasty I can do to Nuclear Winter. Is there sufficient chaos that I can run in, or am I really only effective at range here? Would I have to roll to get in close?
I think I know what the fun answer is here. You can run in if you don't do anything to, secure that route beforehand. It's desperate.
Yeah, I'm gonna stab this man directly in the cockpit with my big spear.
Okay. Tell me what it looks like for, Julius, who's normally very calm and collected, and also who has just asked Ipse to fight to get this distance between the two of you, to just be actually, fuck distance.
We see the inside of Julius's cockpit. We see him react to that comment that Nuclear Winter made. And then we see him completely shut down, right? Totally blank. And then we cut to outside of the cockpit, and Toru is just sprinting towards Nuclear Winter with, Julius has his spear out, which I'm going to take signature weapon or tool. It's visible in my mech portrait. Basically, it's just a very long spear.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh, it still has the white flag on it.
Perfect.
There wasn't time to discard it, and I am fully just running at this man with a white flag.
Tell me if you think this is too mean. I don't think this is too mean. This is desperate limited because you are trying to land this blow against someone who also has a very long weapon and who is behind someone with a shield.
Okay, I'd like to tick surprisingly delicate.
Uh-huh.
Because I want to aim the spear in a very specific way. I'm going to push myself with that. Is there a collateral dice I can have?
Oh, yes, there is. The collateral is, you do something that they really don't expect that gives you the edge. I will give you an extra dice if you throw it. So you don't immediately have it. No matter what happens.
Oh, fuck, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. 100%. Thank you, yeah. I don't think it makes a lot of sense for anyone to be helping me here.
I mean, Ipse is there, but I think you've probably taken Ipse a little bit off guard.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay. I'm gonna make this 2 dice battle desperate standard. This is gonna go so fucking bad for me. That is a 6 and a 2.
Don't forget to tick XP.
tell us what this looks like.
Yeah, I get halfway there, and then I sort of look and I sort of judge the condition of the battlefield. I think even in sort of like a rage, Julius is still good at his job, right? This isn't like blind fury, right? This is cold, calculated. I am going to kill this man, and he realizes he's probably not going to make it. And he just throws the spear overhand, right? Like while in a run, like a javelin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think what this looks like, what this clock being on 5 out of 6 looks like is, so we described the apes as having these narrow sort of like visor-like slits in the cockpit. I think that it lands in that visor, but a little bit wide of the center. So we cut to an inside view of Nuclear Winter's cockpit, and like there is a spear lodged in the left-hand wall of it, like gouging it open, exposing the wall of the cockpit to open circuitry and hydraulics and machinery. There's like steam and sparks hissing and blossoming out of it, and like covering Nuclear Winter, because the spear itself fractured their cockpit but missed them, and it is like feet away from them, and it is lodged in there. They are like reeling back, and we see like as the Blade of Liberty continues to press in on force majeure, we see a hand raise up and think about like, I could just like turn out for a second and remove this spear. And then we see Nuclear Winter grit their teeth, and we see on their face them making the decision of like, no, I just need to fight with this thing stuck in my cockpit. I cannot take my eyes off force majeure for a second. So, I'm guessing that in this moment, is anyone directly commanding Board Squadron?
I think probably True Drop. Well, she maintains the comms connection, but if they're talking or shouting in the background, she's probably focusing on limping the truck down somewhere.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm asking is, do you want to roll command, or do you want to roll their quality to see how they're holding up in there?
Oh, I see. Let's do, how high quality are our boys?
1 higher than normally.
Go get 'em, boys.
I believe that you would be rolling 3 dice if you wanted to roll to see how they're doing.
That's gonna be better than anything I can do. Also, they're independent and fearsome.
Yeah.
And eager and wild.
Yep, sure are.
All just big old checkbox there.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going 3 dice.
2, 1, 5.
I can't enter, effect or what have you in that generic roll dialogue, but it does let me label the roll, send in the boys.
Yeah, I'm just checking whether... I don't think this is
Nice.
a fortune roll.
Oh yeah, that's totally valid. I think it's, reasonable that has consequences. I'm just, curious as to what they are.
Yeah, this is definitely an action roll, and I think that this is great. This is a surprise attack, and your infantry is a higher quality. And that is a 5, so you hear over the comms, Sergeant Birdie says, making headway, minimal losses, they're dug in deep here though, it's slower than we'd expect. The consequence here is not harm to Board Squadron, the consequence is because they are being slower than you would like. I'm starting a clock for safe extraction and ticking it twice.
Yeah, I'm resisting that if I can.
Alright. Well, how do you resist that in these circumstances?
Okay, I have a pitch.
Uh-huh.
I'm not asking them to fight all the way to the source of the corruption. I'm asking them to confirm, the specific room, or even the specific building or corridor, and I'm going to blow it into hell from orbit instead.
Yay!
Okay, so basically you're...
So they're not having to commit as hard, it's easier for them to extract, everyone gets home safe.
So, hold on. When you say easier for them to extract, I think I should clarify what I mean safe extraction. Did you think I meant their extraction?
Yes.
No. What I mean is, if that fills, then you haven't lost. If that fills, then if/when the 501st leave, they don't have to, abandon anything important. They leave with all their goodies.
Oh, so this is about the secondary objective,
Yeah,
right?
if that fails, you lose the supply caches, and you lose... If indeed the source of what's happening is something they would carry with them, lose that.
Huh. Don't love that either. Don't love that, but I'm not sure if it's something I care strongly enough about to protect. Also, I'm not sure how I do in that circumstance. How do I resist that consequence? How do I resist them starting to parcel stuff up? You know, doing a what's it called? Like a firing retreat or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a running battle situation while they're packing stuff up as they go.
I mean, if they've got a van that's there, you could shoot the van, so it's more difficult for them to safely extract. Like if they're gonna be extracting via a route, right? If they've got obvious transport capabilities, you could just.
So in the truck, there is black smoke belching from one of the engines because half of it is gone. The warp core of the engine is exposed, and that's leaking all over the place, which isn't great. But I think Tro is able to bring Longreach round and say, all right, just we'll worry about your friend in the back in a moment, all right? Just concentrate for me. We got this. And I'm going to start picking off... I know the vehicle that my squad brought in. I'm keeping that. Also, I'm pretty sure that's in the loading bay anyway. But basically anything else, or like if there's a monorail line coming out of this building, that's going down. I'm kind of salted earthing this place now that I think about it. But
Okay, so you're resisting by like wrecking their transport.
through extreme violence, yes.
Okay, that sounds to me like you're resisting with expertise.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So that
Okay.
would be 2 quirks, but we have Forged in Fire, so that's only 1 quirk.
Alright. I think this still ticks once, but that's definitely much better.
Which quirk do we think that is? I like the idea that maybe it's far older than it looks, but I don't know why that quirk particularly is being ticked. Do you have any pictures, Elspeth?
I mean, I might have something. I mean, it's a wise choice. It's like, oh no, I've seen this kind of firing retreat before, where
there's a command line terminal which is just like, loading simulations based on 18 previous engagements. And I'm like, I remember 6 of these.
Is there a little bit of like, you turn to like tell Longreach, start taking out their transport, and halfway through that sentence, the first one is already gone. Because it was instinctive.
Love that.
Yeah.
Great work, everyone involved.
And am I also right in interpreting this safe extraction clock, Elspeth, in that if that doesn't fill, then we will presumably have time at the end of the mission, assuming if they do leave in a forced leave in a hurry, we will have time to secure those caches after they've left, because they will have, assuming we've got the time to do it, we're not also forced to extract quickly, we'll be able to pick those up as part of the end of the mission step or something like that.
Yeah, I would say so, definitely. So on that note, Michael, you're blazing a trail to Empress Gold's extractor.
Tell me about Empress Gold's RV.
I don't have an image of it saved, but the extractor is in the base Beam Saber book. You can find it on page
354?
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Oh, look at this cheeky guy.
Yeah, like these exaggeratedly clawed hands designed for easy picking up and manipulation, with shoulder, wings, and boosters. Oh, and one of the arms doesn't actually end in claws, it ends in a sort of blunt, crushing hammer.
Yeah, it's quite an avian-looking mech, but like a bipedal avian.
Yeah, the legs are also like coiled and sort of sprung. So yeah, you're approaching this, and Empress Gold just calmly says, "Oh, it's you. Being
oh, it's me.
So hot-headed won't get you anywhere.
It's got me through life so far. Ain't gonna stop now." And I'm looking to make, I think, either so the Vectored Mantis, the kind of mech that is, it's like a first strike one. It's there to impact very quickly. So these 2 large blades on its hands. I'm looking to basically just fly as fast as I can into the sea and like cleave off like an arm or a wing or maybe even the head. Who knows? Would you say that would be a maneuver to get there quickly, or like a battle for the blades?
I think this RV doesn't have too much at range, and you are fast. I think you can close that distance into battle.
I've got stuff I can use to get there quicker if I need to, if you think that would be...
I'm happy to say that you are there and engaging. I'm happy to just get straight to that.
Yeah. Well, I have a boosted reactor. That's this is a one-use item, a special tuner item. Spend for improved effect when speed or agility is required. Would you say that was?
Yeah. Well,
here?
I mean, this is what I'm saying. I don't think this is an issue. I would say that if you want, you can spend that to be so. They're so fast that you catch Empress Gold off guard and get improved effect or something.
Yeah, I was combining the two roles together. It was.
Yeah,
that makes sense to me. Cool. In fact, well, I guess I should ask what the role would be, like a desperate standard or what.
I think that this is probably a desperate great role because you have improved effect from having got the drop on them so quickly. But this is a very large mech with a very dangerous melee weapon, and they are tier higher than you. It is just straight up better outfitted and equipped than you are.
Ah, fair enough. Well, what's a collateral here?
I think of the collateral is you're so eager to show off and to rush in and help True that you go too fast. Not for your RV, obviously, because it's perfectly engineered. That doesn't happen. Too fast for your actual human body, and you take the level 1 harm G-force.
Oh, 100%. Oh, you know I'm taking that. So I will use that for an additional dice. 3, 4, 6. There we go.
Damn. Okay.
And, very quick with this booster going through, windows shattering, not in a way that breaks the rules of engagement, but, this is incredibly fast. You're gonna have a lot of people with their cell phones out, what is this phenomenon we're seeing going across the city? Or if that's appropriate, of course. But.
No, I think that's fun. I think the other thing is to get through this, you're going past those airing gardens again, and going very fast. I think it's we see just this blur go past, and there's this echoing bell, just ringing in the air as the jet stream passes through all these sound sculptures. Yeah, great. And this blade, did you say you're trying to go for the cockpit or one of the limbs?
Yeah, I don't know how big this clock is.
I think Empress Gold is probably a 6 clock if you want to deal with them.
Yeah, I think this big hammer might be coming down towards True, and I just the X as I come through, and I just shear through the left-hand side of it. So this left wing and this hammer just are crashing down as this incredibly fast mech just goes straight through. Does a very quick turn, and this quick turn to get ready to attack again is probably where the G-force comes in, because we're doing a very abrupt 180.
You say an abrupt turn, I'm definitely the Vector Mantis doing the Akira slide. Okay.
Yeah.
The limb of this mech just rattles to the ground. Empress Gold just sighs, says, "Look, half the reason I'm here is just that I've got my own things I'm working on. I just need to show up here and shoot down a few RVs, and I get the limited edition fan art for my favourite character. And then we're done. We've got incentives to think about. Okay, the fact that the 501st are embarrassing themselves doesn't help, but, I've got swag to chase, you understand?"
I absolutely do not. Are you fucking kidding me? This is about fan art? And the Vector Mantis goes into, some of the thrusters go around to expose, the missiles. We go into an even more combat phase. I'm gonna kick the shit out of you.
It's about prestige. And actually, this might be a good point to mention. Doesn't Michael have that ability that's you immediately know every part that's in an RV?
Yes,
or something?
I have Gearhead. I know exactly what parts, manufacturer, model, year, etc. went into a machine.
All right. Yeah, so this thing is pretty standard built, maybe a bit more ranged capability, a bit more agility, and then a split cockpit. And you also spot just It's buried so most people won't see it, but you can see it like subtly under like the neck of the cockpit. There's is that an external speaker? Empress Gold isn't fucking here. And as you notice that, Empress Gold again then says over the comms, William, aim that claw a little bit to the left, if you wouldn't mind.
William, run. And I think we can come back to this fight in a little bit.
I think we briefly cut into the dual cockpit, and this is being piloted by both of Empress Gold's suited security guards who showed up with them last downtime. Ipse, you're looking at Nuclear Winter reeling from that blow as you weather the onslaught from them and Force Majeure, and you can tell that was a serious blow, and they're still like massively staggered and caught off balance from it. Are you going to stand your ground or try to press the attack and finish this?
I think it's time to press the attack and finish this. Absolutely.
All right.
But I wanted to kill them.
How do you plan to do that?
I think now that Julius is also kind of engaged at short range, I'm happy to stand back and just like try to take shots, just knock out any remaining like important systems on the max. I'm aiming to disable here, I guess, rather than like shoot through the cockpits and kill the pilots immediately.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
In my head, I want them alive so that they can agree that we won the duel and make their troops retreat. So
right.
That's why I'm not just going straight for the kill.
Yes, if you just like cut them off when they agree to the terms, then the rest of their forces might not honor them and might just keep them. Yeah, definitely. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a risky standard battle.
Yeah, I'm gonna use my short-range IR sensors quirk to like help me target the sort of pre-damaged parts of their max and push on this. Just give myself another die again. It's a 5.
Okay. So yeah, what does it look like for you to disable this force? Because I presume you're aiming for Force Majeure because he's the one who's directly in front of you.
I think I'm literally going for like joints on the max limbs to try and like just stop it moving. That feels like a pretty clear win in a duel to me.
Yeah. And is this still with that machine gun, or do you have a melee weapon?
Same machine gun.
Alright, so I'm imagining just like Force Majeure instinctively, reflexively turns in like fear of what's happened to Nuclear Winter, and that leaves this large like tower shield moves, and you can easily get a volley of bullets at the joints of the ape, and we see one of them just like pop, and it's just like the formation immediately falls apart. Force Majeure like falls to one knee back in front of you. It almost looks like his RV falls down as if it's like waiting, kneeling to be beheaded. And Nuclear Winter, with the weight of that spear stuck in their cockpit, just like falls forward, and it's like the other end of a spear lands on the ground and like props their RV up with a point of it landing in front of Force Majeure in a sort of triangle. However, there is a consequence to this. I think what happens is that's not what Nuclear Winter does. What happens to Nuclear Winter is, as this happens, you hear Nuclear Winter's voice, which has been very quiet and measured throughout, just sort of raise in frustration into a yell as they pick up the other end of that spear and tear it out, not vertically, they don't have the arm length for that, the spear is too long, but horizontally out the other side of the RV's head, the cockpit, and swing all the way around and just further like doing even more irreparable damage to the RV, and then just shambling forward for their machine gives out from the strain of doing that. As you shoot in an attempt to protect Force Majeure, they swing the Toro's spear in a wide arc and slam it into your side, again at the head, trying to give you an equivalent wound to the one they had on the opposite side. So I think the Blade of Liberty takes the level 2 damage stabbed.
I'd like to protect, and I have a thing I want to do here.
Oh, okay, I have an image in mind, but I want to hear yours.
Oh, no, it's after I get stabbed.
Alright, the image I have in mind is because, like, it's almost, in some ways you're very close, but it's still going to be hard for you to protect because you were just running, you threw your spear, you're probably, like, only just drawing level with the Blade of Liberty. So I'm imagining, like, you only have time to just, like, get a hand in the way. Not an arm, a hand. So imagine you just, like, putting out the hand of a Toru, and this spear just going, like, through the center and all the way up the arm, and, like, splitting it in two.
Oh, that's nasty.
Yeah, and, like, the two arm hanging off, and this spear just being stuck in, like, the elbow joint. I think that's a level 2 damage broken arm, unless you would like to resist it, which I'm guessing you don't.
I would not. No, I like getting XP.
Yeah, you have Martyr.
Because I have the ability Martyr. When I take harm or damage from protecting a teammate and don't resist it, I gain 1 XP.
Mm-hmm.
Does get me a level in battle, which is fun. As this happens, as Nuclear Winter is extremely stabbing me, their clock is filled, right? They are defeated?
Yes.
Okay. I want to get on the comms with Force Majeure. I want to say very simply, watch this, honorable man, and I want to smash Nuclear Winter's cockpit with the bull.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, just so we have this on record, you absolutely can kill Nuclear Winter in this moment, and that is what you are going to do. Correct?
Yep. Correct. Don't talk shit about things you don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, like, literally just like an overhead slam with the head of this bull.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
I think what happens is, this all happens very quickly. I think you immediately just start hearing, like, not even like a yell, not shouts, not words, just like a roar from Force Majeure over the comms. And then, barely audible underneath that, you hear the last words of Nuclear Winter, which are simply, "Never forget your dignity, Captain." And then Nuclear Winter switches off Force Majeure's comms for him, so you don't see him grieve.
Well, okay.
Join in next week for another wacky episode of CalazCon.
Oh, hell yeah.
True winks at the camera.
Michael's in the background, like, eviscerating a mech.
I think we get in sort of the aftermath of this, Julius sort of like bracing the spear and like sort of yanking it out of... I don't know how he does this. I think I probably get Ipse to help, right? And just like yanks the spear out of his vehicle's arm and then like has it shoved back in so I can still use it with like an eviscerated arm.
Okay. You don't hear what Force Majeure says, but all of the other forces, they don't keep fighting, they stand down and back away. And I think, even for Force Majeure, honor is out the window. Now it's a matter of, Force Majeure has to kill you himself. And right now he can't do that, so everyone else needs to stop fighting. Halfway through turning to try to, like, slam a palm down on the ground and squash the Vector Mantis, Michael, you suddenly hear Empress Gold's say from that speaker, "Oh, shit."
Oh, shit is right.
The legs, the limbs of the extractor spring up and just, like, vault away from you.
Oh, yeah, you better run. You better run.
And I...
Yeah, you tell him who did this to you. You tell him it was Michael Carmichael, the best pilot and engineer on this fucking planet.
Well, and you follow their gaze, and you see a familiar-looking RV, a modified strafe known as the Hope of Calazar, skating away with 2 large storage containers in tow. I am spending a rival move for Slipaway Bolt to put 2 ticks on the safe extraction clock of their own.
Okay. So this is a separate safe extraction clock.
Or
the same. Oh, yeah, sorry, it's the same one. So this would be...
I mean, it doesn't make any difference because, it's the same clock. They're just... It's who's extracting it.
That was just me misunderstanding the situation. If we're rolling back, it had one thing in it and then another two...
Yeah, it is now up to 3 ticks from this rival move.
I think it is appropriate for Michael to try and resist this by ticking off his rack of missiles as he's dodging out of the way of the extractor. These missiles come around and send a barrage that way, so I'm taking that off, and this would be, if that is okay, a expertise.
Yeah, definitely.
So that would be 1 quirk, and I'm going to go with the sensitive controls as we do a lock-on kind of thing. Away they go to reduce that down to 1 tick.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, so these missiles fly out and sever the hauling cable that Switchblade Bolt has, and the storage containers that they were towing on the hope of Calazar fall to the ground.
And then we get the you tell them it was Michael Carmichael that did this to you, the best pilot engineer on this fucking planet.
I think Switchblade Bolt is willing to concede this one. Doesn't want to get into this fight over holding onto these. But I think what they do is they do this fancy maneuver where there are these sort of roller skates, so that means you can roller skate backwards, so they turn around, so they're still moving away from you, but they're facing you. You just see its wing bend and do an approximation of a wave as they fade into the distance.
Michael is seething.
Thanks for listening to CalazCon. This episode was edited and sound balanced by Christine Blight. You can reach her for voice acting at CVBlight@gmail.com. The show's music is by Devin Nelson. You can find them on all social media at Devin Decibel. If you'd like to support CalazCon, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/CalazCon. Please tell your friends about the show too. Remember, all glory to Calazar.